This is the Olympia Werk CD401. It's a very nice calculator from early 70s with Nixie display. And let's check if everything is working and see all the functions that are available for this calculator. So first, let's make sure that all the numbers are working as they should. And that's a bit boring, but necessary. And it's different from a modern display where parts of the number are shared. So if you press 8, you can check all the numbers. Each one of these is individual. So you need to check them one by one to make sure that they're working properly. And this is really a beautiful calculator. I don't think the video makes justice to the glow that you get from this calculator. So say 1 divided by, so we can get with no decimal place, so it wouldn't work. 1 divided by a large number, so we can already populated all the zeros here. The only one that's missing is the one at the end. That wouldn't make a lot of difference, but let's do the other way around. So, and we can check also that all the decimal points are, the decimal separators are working properly. So there we are, all the digits working as they should. This option here, it shows the number of decimal places. So it's 0, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 9. So if it's on 0, we press 0 and enter. Sorry, let's clear all. 0 and enter, it shows 0. If we move to 3 decimal places and we do exactly the same, 0 plus, it shows us the 2 decimal places. Sorry, 2 decimal places, and then 3, and then 5, and then 6, and then 9. And this procedure is described in the repair instruction for the calculator. Most of the text is quite pointless, I gotta say. It's a nice introduction that you have, saying that this document will help you to get familiar with the calculator. And there are a couple of procedures. The flow charts, unfortunately, they are very hard to read because this is a reproduction from the scan available on the internet. But what is really priceless is this part here, where we have everything that you should press, and the operation, and then the answer that you were supposed to get. So it makes testing the calculator, these 3 pages at the end, very straightforward, even though not all the signs are readable, and some of them, they do not make a lot of sense. But that's the procedure. So the decimal separator is working as they should. This is about rounding. So this is off. 3 divided by 2.1, 242. 3 divided by 2.1, 143. So it rounds up or down depending on the position of this option here. So this is to store numbers in the memory. So let's come back to the checking procedure and see how this was supposed to work. So we have 1.03, and then you press it down, times 2, equal. And then if I keep pressing equal here, it's going to keep using the number that was stored there in the beginning of the operation. So if I need to do exponential that's not available in the calculator here, I can use the interest rate over several periods of time using the K option. So you press the number and then you press K. Let's do it again just to make clear. So 1.03 times 2. In this case, we don't have the K function here, and it's not going to keep doing the calculation. But if we have 1.03 stored in the constant times 3.2. And now we can keep pressing enter and using the constant that we just stored there. And the feeling of the calculation is incredibly robust. This part is metal. It's a really heavy calculator. The base is a metal base. Let's see the other options. So plus option 2.3 plus 2.6 plus 5.3, 1 plus. And the same thing with the minus. 53 minus, and then you have the minus indicator here at the end. We also have multiplication here, so times 3.2 equal, and division divided by 3.2, and we return to the number that we had before. So the pluses and minuses quite straightforward. So the options here on the right side are related to memory. So if we say 12 plus, it activates the memory. So this number is not going to be erased unless we clear it with this option here. So even if we clear all, the memory, the 12 is still stored there. And if you have 13 and we add it to the memory, it's adding this too. So we clear it all, but we still can recall the 12 plus 13, 25. The only way to clear this is here, and then you can actually clear the memory, and you can add numbers to this memory or subtract them, recall them anytime, or clear. Talking about recall, if you're doing an operation and you're adding up several numbers and suddenly you say, did I add the last number properly? You can always use this recall where you shift between the previous enter and the current one to see if you are doing it right or not. So it's a handy option, the recall option here. And last but not least, the percentage option. So the percentage option, let's suppose that I want to know what is 3% of 200. 200 times 3%, and that's 6, which is 3% of 200. The plus and the minus, I couldn't get to figure out how to do that, but you can of course keep it in one of the memories or store it as a constant and then add or multiply as you want. And also the division, so 200 divided by 3%, and then you find that 200 is 3% of 6,666 point, etc. So multiplication and division with percentage works as expected. Plus and minus different from more modern calculators. And this is the Olympia Werk CD401 in all its former glory, and still this particular exemplar in pretty good conditions. This exemplar comes with the reproductions of the original manual in German, and this is the scan that's in debatable reading conditions. There are also reproduction of the manual in German, but in this case the text was actually extracted and properly written again on the page. So for most of the pages it's quite okay, apart from the diagrams that are poor and not readable. And there is a translation in English of this repair instruction. All these reproductions, also this leaflet with some of the highlights, the microchip and the recall and percentage option, and a couple of, let's say, simple commands that you can do with the calculator, and a reproduction of an ad from the time where you always would put a woman together with the product. It doesn't matter what's the relation. If you want to sell something Mad Men style, late 60s, early 70s, you put a girl, and you see a lot of advertisement of calculators in the same line of this one. So still reproductions, but quite handy to have, and interesting a bit of the history behind this calculator.